Hi, my name is Sunny from LoreForged, a podcast that covers Ashes of Creation, and I'm here to talk to you about elves. Not just any elves. I've got my bow tie tied tight and straight, and I've got a pumpkin spice latte because this is not a drill, it's pumpkin spice season. Now, my wife seems to think she's very clever when I'm getting a little bit basic, and she makes the order for Aspen, her little nickname for Basic Sunny.
I'm sorry, but the test was positive. You're a basic bitch.
But the joke is on her because guess what? We're talking about the Empyrean Elves, and there are no elves that fit a pumpkin spice latte better than Empyrean Elves. Pure ambrosia, baby.
The best I can do is prescribe something that will help minimize your basic bitch symptoms. You'll never be a bad bitch.
The Empyrean Elves are exactly what you would think of. These are the snootiest of elves. These are high elves, tall and pale. Think Legolas, Elrond, Galadriel, the Lady of Light. Are we talking about the Pyre wood elves? We absolutely are not. That is something for Cash. Dwarves, forgot about it. That's a JB thing. We're talking about high elves here.
And what gift would a dwarf ask of the elves?
Nothing. Except to look upon the lady of the Galadrim one last time.
The big three for the Empyreans: Imperial, Pride, and Culture. And we're gonna get into all of that.
I see pride, Junior. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off from nobody.
That's right.
Right, Junior Bevel.
But before we even start, you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, are we talking about Pyrean elves or are we talking about Empyrean elves? Well, it's kind of interchangeable. The Empyrean elves is the overarching culture of elves. Now, the Empyrean divided into the Empyreans and the Pyre wood elves. Don't worry about them. Think about the other part of this, okay? Empyrean, Empyrean. Now, I might use these terms interchangeably a little bit, and I think that it's fair to say that most elves are Empyrean elves. They talk about Empyrean culture and they talk about Pyrean culture, and they basically use the same sort of thing. They talk about Greco-Roman architecture. And remember when we went back to the big three there? Imperial, pride, culture. This tracks so perfectly with the architecture of the Empyrean elves. It is Greco-Roman, it is rigid, it is form in its most perfect sense. Think of the Parthenon, those pillars, just pure marble works of art with straight lines. That is a perfect way of thinking of a high elf. Is a wood elf gonna build a Greco-Roman building? Absolutely not. That's how far away these two cultures of elves are from each other. Now, pride? Of course. These are the high elves. These are the kind of elves that eat their mushrooms and salads with a fork and knife, and they're gonna be mad if that fork is not on the correct side of the plate. Culture. Culture's an interesting one because this is a very secretive society. Now, they just finished an enormous war with the humans. Why do they hate the humans? Well, I have a guess on this. Now, the Empyrean elves descended from a race of half-elves called the Tauren. And guess who else descended from a race of half-elves? The Aelin humans. This seems like backwards world building to me, but nonetheless, this is how it worked. You had the Tauren, it's a race of half-elves, and they spawned the Aelin and the Empyrean, okay? They spawned the human and the elves. How weird is that? Not my world, I just live in it. I could see those two being a little bit upset, and well, they had a pretty bloody war. It's been about 80 years since then, so they're kind of getting over it, but that's really how the elves are getting out into the world, particularly the Empyreans. They have the Empyrean University of Magical and Martial Studies, and to me, that just seems like Hogwarts on meth. It is a fantastic opportunity. Think of that. You're going to university to study martial studies and magic from high elves. And if you thought that Professor Snape was a hard ass, well, you haven't been taught by an Empyrean elf yet. Couple fun facts about the Empyrean culture. Their kingdom borders the forest of Arinthia, which is also a place that has the Arinthian pools, where you can find Arinthian silk in the monsoon season. And with that, you can make yourself some Empyrean leather. So there is some cool stuff already out there that is going to be exclusive to this high culture of elves. If you're not careful, there's rumors of a lineage of elves that live in the Underrealm. Something else to explore there. There's a lot going on with these guys, and you might think, okay, high elves, this is kind of a trope that we've seen before, and I get it, but this is fantasy. If you didn't have high elves, what are we even talking about here, right? Somebody's got to look down on us. Somebody has to teach us and keep their noses snooty and high, and that's the role of the high elves. It always has been. Well, my name is Sunny, and I am with LoreForged. In my most Empyrean way possible, I will drink my pumpkin spice latte and say, I'll see you if I deem it worthy. They really should have this stuff all year long.